So there was obviously the big hullabaloo, mainly from the UK fishing industry, about the essential collapse of talks between the UK and Norway. And as so often that the Brexiteers forget, not only have we quote unquote reclaimed our sovereignty, but other countries have their sovereignty too. And this seems to be the massive problem that the Brexiteers seem to have forgotten about, of why the EU was such a good thing, because it was 28 nations at the time combining their sovereignty together to achieve really good trade results, all sorts of stuff, and it worked. It's still working. It will continue to work and flummox the Brexiteers, who continuously try and say that, oh, the EU's going to collapse. The EU's going to collapse in 5 years. And I've said it before, you can almost go back on a timeline and find these Brexiteers and say when the EU is going to collapse. And by the way, this goes all the way back to its very beginnings, when it was the European Coal and Steel Initiative. You know, the naysayers in Britain were saying, this'll never last, this'll never work. And lo and behold, that small trade paper to commit to the mutual trading of coal and steel developed into what we see as the European Union today, because it turns out nations working together and pooling their sovereignty can achieve far more by working together than trying to work separately for bizarre goals that are based on complete fantasy. And I think this is going to be one of the defining things that charts Brexit, because, as we said, not only have we quote-unquote gained back our sovereignty, but other countries have sovereignty as well, and they forget that if you don't have power as well as your own sovereignty, then that basically sovereignty amounts to pretty much complete impotence. And that is what we have seen today. So before we jump into today's article covering more from this absolute debacle about Norway, the Norway agreement, and how even more screwed now UK fishing is, please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And thank you to all those people who do support the channel in those ways. So, on with the article. And this comes from the Yorkshire Bylines. Ooh, there we go. This comes from the Yorkshire Bylines. The title is Fishing: Norway, Brexit and Unfulfilled Promises. Our government claimed that on Christmas Eve, the deal of fisheries puts us back in control of our waters. We have won our fishing back, a bright future for the fishing industry. Remember, the fishing leaders themselves were not so impressed. The new share-out between the EU27 and the UK appeared to them to involve very small gains and some losses. But wait, all is not lost. There is one area where we really have got back control: fishing in Norwegian waters. That sea is valuable to the few remaining deep-sea trawlers based at Peterhead and on the Humber. And for British consumers, they are an important source of cod, haddock for our fish and chips. And post-Brexit Britain will negotiate as a sovereign nation eye-to-eye with Norway. So here's how Brexit opens up to this new freedom. So, quite a surprise that we learn that 4 months into 2021 that our UK negotiators have broken off negotiations with Norway, having failed to reach any agreement. And as a result, Norwegian waters will be completely closed to British fisheries for the whole of this year, while the EU27 boats will have their rights there as before. The English and Scottish fisheries leaders are absolutely appalled and angry at this. But what are we, as an outside observers, actually to make of this matter? Are our UK negotiators playing a long game? Have they been trying to press Norway into making concessions and retcon to try and wear them down by letting them stew for this year? The official line from DEFRA is that our side was ready and willing to do a deal, and that this was, quote, balanced and in the interest of the UK fishing industry. So which side upset the balance? It seems rather likely that the UK side was bidding for an improvement on the terms that we enjoyed as an EU member state, and that we were trying perhaps to not enlarge our take from Norwegian waters, but to reduce Norwegian access to the waters off the west of Scotland. And in that case, Norway would not have seen why they should accept a change for the worse to their side of the bargain as a consequence of Brexit, any more than the French did. And will a year's standoff actually improve our prospects? I somehow doubt it will. Norwegian negotiators are tough, and fishing is far more significantly and economically beneficial for Norway than for Britain. And it looks as though we have overplayed our hand, and in the process, picking up a big black mark in the sector where Brexit was vaunted to be the answer to our dreams. The UK fishing industry, for the moment, sustains a loss of fishing opportunities worth over £40 million. So much for the negotiating skills of global Britain. Better luck with the bigger deals. And that is not the only thing that has come out of this, because it is very, very clear that the UK negotiators were essentially vastly over trying to play their hand and essentially go, oh yeah, we want more access to your waters, but we're going to cut off yours. You know, no one in their right mind would take that. Not only that, but it also came out that the UK was also trying to push for basically unlimited access for UK agricultural products. Again, Norway was not going to have it, because they said, well, if you want to do all this stuff, we're going to have to go and talk to the EU, meaning that you're going to have to come with us and sit down at the EU's table. And interestingly, and I'm surprised not more people have picked up on this, it came out, I can't remember where I read it, but it was like, you know, the 5 things that we learned. And when Norway said this, they came out and said, this is our side, by the way, the UK side came out and said that they are not going to talk to the European Union until 2022. Now, what is one of the things that I've been saying for quite a while? I've been saying that at the end of this year, Boris Johnson, or maybe whoever, is going to come out and say, look how fantastic Brexit has been this year. Hasn't it been fantastic? Look at all this stuff we've done. Look at all the quote-unquote benefits that is brought to the UK. It is essentially going to be the whole George Bush mission accomplished banner all over again, because that's what Boris wants. He wants his new opportunity to go, hey, look, we promised we'd get Brexit done. Hey, look, Brexit's been done. Now that, quote, Brexit's been done, they can now maybe start to go to the EU again and start to, shall we say, have some more talks that would, shall we say, more upset the Brexit voting supporters out there, while they can do that on the quiet. And of course, this will be the whole celebration. Oh, look, we got Brexit done. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it fantastic? When in reality, as soon as that comes out, every single point, I can guarantee you almost every single point that they state will be wrong and not be a benefit to Britain. We've already seen the absolute abysmal state of the deal that was negotiated with Japan, which overwhelmingly favours them in the deal and only favours us by about 17%. The deal that we have done with Mexico is absolutely, completely useless now and outdated, considering how well the EU deal, the new EU deal, compared to the one that we signed now is, and leaves, again, our domestic producers open to cheap fruit imports from not only Mexico, but also now India, meaning that the British fruit and vegetable industry now comes under threat as well. You know, this just goes on and on and on. You know, the deals with Australia and New Zealand. We do more trade with Ireland alone than we do with New Zealand. Again, ultimately pointless. From what we have seen initially, these trade deals would essentially leave us with a massive deficit. Again, Australia benefits far more than we do. And again, I thought Brexit was about to be making deals that benefited us. The whole, Donald Trump thing. But again, that will be incredibly damaging to UK jobs and investment here. And we've always said the best worst case scenario for Brexit: less exports, less investment, less jobs, smaller economy. That is the best worst case scenario for Brexit. That is not what anyone voted for. That is not what the Leavers promised. That is not what the Brexiteers said would happen. They said it would be a land of milk and honey, that it would be sunshine and rainbows, that things would get better. And hundreds of thousands of people, especially in the north, voted for Brexit because they believed the line that somehow this would make their life better. And ultimately, it is not going to make their life better, because the area that Brexit is going to hit most, the area where these jobs and investment are going to leave, ultimately will be the north of England. And ultimately, a lot of people are going to suffer, and it is not going to be good at all. So, as always, please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button on your way out. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you to all the people who do support me that way, and we'll see you all next time.